us, brothers and sisters, dua needs to be an important, I don't know if there's sisters here, but there needs to be a crucial part of our day. We always need to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the good and the bad. And his dua is phenomenal. His dua, he goes like, ربي إني بما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. فقال ربي إني بما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. Oh Allah, whatever blessings you gave me, I'm still in need. But you stop here, what blessings does Musa have? He's homeless, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a family, he have no idea where he's going, he has nothing. What blessings does he have? He says, Rabbi, bima anzalta ilayya min khayr. Oh Allah, you gave me a lot of blessings, you gave me a lot of khair. But I'm still in need of you. What khair does Musa have? See, Musa has a lot of khair. Right? He ran away from Fir'aun. That's a blessing. He ran away from the people that wanted to kill him after pushing this man. That's a blessing. His shade is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the most distressed circumstances, Musa is thinking about the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I want us for a second to reflect about our own lives. Alhamdulillah, a lot of us have homes. A lot of us are about to have some amazing breakfast in a little bit. Right? A lot of us, alhamdulillah, have a family. But Musa, when he has nothing, he still remembers the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we need to do the same exact thing. We need to find our shade, not literally, but we need to find our shade and sit there and remind ourselves of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we are entrenched in the blessings, wallahi, brothers and sisters. I think being in the MCMC community by itself is a blessing. Even if you don't have anything else. Being here right now, staying for Fajr, inshallah, all of us, we're going to leave with the reward of Hajj and Umrah, that's a blessing. We can sit here and literally just think about tens and hundreds of blessings. But then Musa says, oh Allah, I am still in need of you. Because we also always need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, some of the scholars, one of my teachers, Shaykh Walid Basyuni, some of you guys might know him, he says that the more you show Allah your weakness, the more He shows you His strength, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more weak we show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, yes, I have a family, alhamdulillah, I have all these blessings, but I'm still weak. I'm still weak. We have to show our weakness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Because from this point on, Musa's life is about to change. And I think it's very important to stop here for a little bit before we go to the next verse. The next verse takes Musa from one place to a completely different place. He did two things. He volunteered to help two girls, complete strangers to him. He wanted nothing from them, he just wanted to help. He just wanted to volunteer. Allah Surah Al-Baqarah says, فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ شَاكِرٌ عَلِيمٌ. Whoever volunteers, tatawwa means volunteers, khayr, volunteers in anything good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will thank him for it. Because nothing goes unrewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The smallest act can change your life. The smallest act of kindness to others can change your life, can change other people's life. Right? We see Dhul Qarnayn, for example, when he built the wall for the people, it changed his life. It changed their life, it actually changes our life. Because what's behind the walls? Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Right? And he did it voluntarily, he was like, I don't want money. And we see this concept of volunteering throughout other parts of the Quran too, and other parts of the Messenger's life. Musa volunteered, and he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These two things, you can say the theme of this entire story. He volunteered to help two girls that are completely strangers to him, and he continues to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, I need your help. Oh Allah, I'm poor. I'm always in need of you. Nobody ever needs to think that, you know what, alhamdulillah, man, I'm good, I don't need Allah, I'm good. I pray my 5 times, I read my Quran, I come to the masjid, I'm good. No, we should never think like that. We're always in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to show Allah our need through our dua. We need to show Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you'll find His blessings coming down to us. Now Musa again, he's under the shade. he did this small act of kindness, a small act of goodness. He's making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next part is crucial. Right? فَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. One of the girls comes with amazing modesty. She comes with a lot of modesty. Right? قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك خير ما سقيت لنا. Our father wants to reward you for what you did. Again, his life is about to change. He wasn't expecting it. He doesn't even know them. Right? And also, by the way, when she came back, it indicates that Musa stayed in the shade for a good long time. Because he has nowhere to go. So when she came back, obviously she's not going to look around. She found him still under the shade, right next to that body of water. So it was very easy to find him. So when she found him, she says, my father is inviting you to reward you. Now this father is believed to be Prophet Shu'aib. Some of the narrations, they say it's Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam. And these were his two daughters. Now Prophet Shu'aib is about to be Musa's father-in-law. Right? And subhanAllah, I wanted to stop here for a second because the relationship between Musa and his future father-in-law is phenomenal. There's tons of lessons. You know, a lot of times if we bring it down to our life today, right? Fathers especially, may Allah protect us. A lot of times when somebody comes and proposes to your daughter, and you know he does his thing, you know, he pays the mahar and he does whatever he needs to do. A lot of times that relationship stops. That relationship between the son and the father-in-law kind of stops. You know, once the girl gets to know the guy, that's it. But Musa's father-in-law, actually, you know, starting that relationship was thanking him for what he did. How many of us genuinely, and I want us to think about it, you don't have to give me an answer, but how many of us genuinely go to our son-in-law and thank them for paying mahar? Actually, a lot of us don't. Because we feel like, dude, you gotta do it. It's an obligation, it's part of the deen, right? But does he not deserve like, hey, thank you, young man? I'll tell you, young men, it's a struggle to just get that money together. Right? How many of us thank them about small little gifts that they buy for their daughters? You know, if your daughter's engaged or she did the nikah before moving in, for example, and let's say he comes in and he buys her a gift. Oh, she's going to be happy, she's going to thank him, it's all cute. But what about the father-in-law? Does the father-in-law go to the son-in-law and tells him, hey man, thank you for buying that gift for my daughter? I appreciate it. A lot of us don't. Because we feel entitled, like, yeah, he has to do that. He has to take care of my daughter. But how about you thank him too? Just say thank you. Or get him a gift or something. But Musa alayhi salam gets his act rewarded. The father says, the girl says, my father wants to thank you for what you did. Right? And that also teaches us that nothing goes unrewarded with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Whatever goodness you do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will not forget it for you. Nothing goes unrewarded in our deen. Nothing. Small act of goodness, right, will always be rewarded. So he goes to the man. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص قَالَ لَا تَخَفْ نَجَوْتَ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. So the father-in-law, Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam, invited Musa over to reward him for what he did. And then Musa told him his story. His story of when he was in Egypt, he did this and that, he had to run away, which shows his character, Shu'aib's character. He made him super comfortable to tell him the entire story. It's a complete stranger they've never met before. Right? And again, going around that father and son-in-law relationship, right? How many of us genuinely have a genuine conversation with our son-in-laws? Right? We can just have a cool conversation, like, he's my son, and he is your son. He's about to take your daughter. Right? So build that relationship, have a conversation, make them feel comfortable. You know, I speak with a lot of younger guys, meeting the father-in-law, man, it's so difficult. It's like meeting Fir'aun. It's so hard. To them, it's so difficult because they're just thinking about all these questions and all these things, right? So they're going already super nervous, especially the younger guys, like 20, 21, 22. Meeting the father-in-law is a disaster. It's very difficult. But then it becomes the job of the father-in-law to make them feel comfortable. Just like Shu'aib did. Relax, dude, it's okay. Tell me what's your story. So he tells him the story, he feels so comfortable. And then Shu'aib, the father says, don't worry man, you're good. Allah saved you. You're okay. Don't worry about it. I got you. Right? Then comes the romantic part of the story. قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. Oh my father, hire him. Oh my father, hire him. Indeed, the best of those that you hire are the strong and the trustworthy. Okay, so obviously you can see, because as we mentioned, Musa was a built man. Like you can see he's strong from far. You need to know him. He's a strong man, right? And he's trustworthy. He took care of them in the middle of nowhere. He didn't know who they are, right? But also the father understood, like, this is not about hiring him. It's about something else, right? Because no girl compliments another guy just for the sake of complimenting him, right? So when the father is here, your daughter is going to come one day, it's like, Dad, Ahmed in school today, Muhammad at work today, he helped me do this, that. He was so nice, he did this, he bought me lunch, he did. You realize, okay, your daughter kind of likes Ahmed. Because they're modest, remember? So she's not going to say, hey, my dad, I like Musa, marry me. So the father understood, which also indicates the relationship between the father and the daughters. They were close. They understood each other. They understood how to have a conversation. Her dad just got her the moment she says, Ya abati ista'jir. Oh, my dad, hire him. Right? We were at a class once, and one sister raised her hand. She was like, Sheikh, I don't think that's what the verse says. Right? Because a lot of scholars, they said that actually her way of saying, oh my father, hire him, is an indication, oh my father, marry me to him. Right? But she said it in a very modest way. She's not going to say it directly. Right? So one of the sisters didn't like that interpretation. She was like, no, Sheikh, I don't think she liked him. I think she just wanted him to do the job for her because she didn't want to work herself. Right? Which is possible. Right? It's possible. That first she said, my dad is an old man, so I don't really have to work. Okay? Oh, my dad, hire him. He can do the job for us. He's homeless, he has nowhere to go, just hire him. It's not like I don't really like him. But then the fact that she says Qawiyyun Ameen, right, also plays along that interpretation. Okay, he's strong, he can do the job, and instead of two of us, one man will take care of business, right? And he's Ameen, you can trust him. So it has nothing to do with marriage. Now, why did the next verse, Shu'aib goes to Musa and says, I want you to marry one of my daughters. If the second meaning holds, if the second meaning that she didn't like him, okay, why did Musa was offered to marry one of them? Because Shu'aib knew that Musa has nowhere to go. So if he has to hire him, they have to live together. And if they live together, they have to get married. To at least one of the girls. So the second interpretation actually holds. Is that she didn't like him, she didn't even care about him, she just wanted somebody to do the work for her. And in order for this transaction and this contract to take place, they have to get married because he cannot just live with them. Right? But also the first interpretation still holds true as well. That she liked him, right? And, her doing the job was, her dad asking, right? Because the next verse, he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين على أن تأجرني 8 حجج فإن أتممت 10 فمن عندك وما أريد أن أشق عليك ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصالحين. That his father says, I want you to marry one of my daughters, right? And on condition that you work for me for 8 years. Probably the most expensive mahr ever. 8 years of work, you know how much money that is? An average salary in New Jersey is what, $60,000 times 8? It's a very hefty mother, right? But it's okay because he gets a house, he gets a family, and he gets a home, gets married and all that. But the father says, I'm gonna marry one of my daughters, but in return, your mom, quote unquote, because he knows Musa has nothing, is gonna work for me for 8 years. And if you want to do 10, it's up to you, right? And then the father, I love the part, the role of the father that he plays in that episode of Musa. He says, وَلَا أُرِيدُ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. I don't want to make it hard for you, right? So 8 years is our agreement. If it does 10, alhamdulillah, no problem, right? And then he says, سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I'm going to take care of you. You're going to find me from the righteous, right? I'm not going to burden you. I'm not going to make it difficult for you, right? And then Musa says, قَالَ ذَلِكَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ أَيَّمَا الْأَجَلَيْنِ قَضَيْتَ فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيَّ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى مَا نَقُولُ وَكِيلٌ. The extra 2 years is between you and I. We'll figure it out later, right? And whatever duration, whatever contract, if I do 8 or 10, right? Then there's nothing against me. There's nothing against me. We're agreeing it's 8 or 10. Whatever I decide to do, it's up